AITA for giving my boyfriend a Blumpkin. Now he's acting weird, and I think he lost respect for me. Original post by Just a Confused Girl. Hey Reddit, I never thought I'd be here sharing this, but I really need some outside perspective on a situation that's been eating away at me. I'm a 24-year-old woman in a committed relationship with my boyfriend Jake, who's 26. We've been together for about 2 years, and I thought we had a solid and respectful relationship. So, here's the situation. A couple of weeks ago, after a night of drinking and joking around, we were feeling adventurous. In the heat of the moment, I ended up giving him a Blumpkin. Yes, I know it's a weird thing to do, but it felt like a fun, spontaneous thing to try. We laughed about it afterward, and I thought it brought us closer together. But since that night, everything has changed. At first, Jake was his usual self, joking around and being affectionate. But slowly, I've noticed a shift. He's been more distant, less affectionate, and almost seems to treat me differently, like he's lost some respect for me. He no longer initiates cuddles, and our conversations have become short and less intimate. I can't help but feel that the Blumpkin has changed the dynamic of our relationship. I tried to bring it up a few times, but every time I mention it, he brushes it off or changes the subject. I asked him if everything was okay between us, and he just said, "Yeah, of course, why wouldn't it be?" But I can see it in his eyes. Something is off. I've also noticed him being more critical about little things, like the way I dress or how I handle certain situations. It's like he's suddenly looking at me through a different lens, and it's making me feel terrible about myself. I've started second-guessing my worth in this relationship. I'm starting to wonder if I crossed a line by giving him a Blumpkin. Was it too much? Did I somehow damage the relationship? I mean, I thought it was a fun, consensual experience. But now I feel like I'm being judged for it. I've read some posts about similar situations on here, and I see that some people think that doing something kinky can change the power dynamics in a relationship. Is that what's happening here? Did I lose his respect because I did something so out there? I don't want to lose him over this, but I also don't want to feel like I'm walking on eggshells or that I have to hide who I am. I love him and want to communicate, but I'm scared of what he'll say. So, Reddit, am I TA for giving my boyfriend a Blumpkin? Should I be worried that he's acting differently? How do I navigate this situation? Wow, thank you for all the comments and advice. I didn't expect this post to blow up like it did. You guys are amazing. After reading through your responses, I realized I needed to have a serious conversation with Jake about this. I scheduled a dinner date and planned to talk to him then. The dinner was nice at first, but as soon as I brought up how I felt, the mood shifted. I asked him outright if he thought differently of me after the Blumpkin, and he looked taken aback. He said something like, "No, of course not. It was fun, right?" But then he quickly added, "It's just, I didn't know you were into that kind of stuff." I felt my heart sink. I told him that it was not about being into anything. It was about being comfortable with each other and being able to explore our sexuality together. His response was a nonchalant, "Yeah, I guess." He sounded dismissive, and I could tell he wasn't fully engaging with what I was saying. I pressed him more, wanting to understand where his head was at. He finally admitted that he felt weirded out by it, like it was something that changed the vibe of our relationship. I was devastated. It felt like he was judging me instead of celebrating that we shared an intimate experience. After that conversation, I decided to give him some space. I thought maybe he just needed time to process it all. But the next few days were rough. He didn't text me much, and when we hung out, there was this palpable tension. I started to feel insecure, questioning everything about myself and our relationship. I wondered if he was telling his friends about it, and what they must think of me. The thought of being the girl who gave her boyfriend a Blumpkin made me cringe. Update number 2 by Just a Confused Girl. Okay, so things got even messier. I went out with some girlfriends last weekend to try to take my mind off things. We ended up at a bar and I had a few drinks. After a couple of margaritas, I texted Jake asking if he wanted to come and join us. I thought it might be a good way to lighten the mood. He agreed to come, but when he arrived, he seemed off. He barely interacted with me and spent most of the night with his friends. At one point, I overheard him joking with them and I couldn't help but listen. He was telling a story about our Blumpkin experience, but he made it sound like I was some kind of freak. The way he laughed with his friends made me feel so small. I confronted him about it later, and he insisted it was just a joke and that I was overreacting. But I felt humiliated. I told him it wasn't funny and that I felt disrespected. He looked frustrated and we ended up arguing. I left the bar in tears, feeling like I had made a huge mistake by trying to be open and adventurous. The next day I decided to take some time for myself and really think about what I wanted. I didn't want to be in a relationship where I felt like I had to hide parts of myself or worry about being ridiculed. I texted Jake and told him I needed some space to figure things out. So, after a few days of radio silence, Jake reached out to me. He apologized for how he acted at the bar and admitted he didn't mean to make me feel bad. He said he felt embarrassed and didn't know how to handle the situation with his friends. He explained that he didn't want them to think he was whipped or anything. Honestly, hearing that made me realize how insecure he felt about it. But at the same time, I couldn't shake the feeling that he was still judging me for what happened. We had a long conversation that night, and he said he didn't want to lose me. He promised to work on being more open and understanding about our relationship. I told him I needed to see some real change, though. I wanted him to be able to laugh with me about our experiences instead of treating them as something to be ashamed of. I think we're both learning that communication is key, and I really hope we can move past this. But here's the kicker. I still can't shake the feeling that something has changed. Even though he's trying to be more respectful, I can't help but feel like there's this invisible wall between us now. I want to believe things will go back to normal, but a part of me wonders if I've crossed a line that can't be uncrossed. Final update by Just a Confused Girl. I wanted to give you all a final update because I appreciate the support and advice you've given me. It's been a rocky road, but Jake and I have been working on our communication and rebuilding the trust in our relationship. We had a heart-to-heart about our feelings, and it was honestly one of the most vulnerable conversations we've ever had. He opened up about his insecurities, and I shared my feelings about how I've been hurt. He admitted that he was afraid of how it might change how others view him, but he also realized that it's more important to care about how I feel. We talked about what we want from our relationship moving forward and how we can create a safe space for each other. I told him that I also want to explore our sexuality together, but that it should never come at the cost of respect. He agreed, and even suggested we try to have more fun experiences together that we both feel comfortable with. I don't think everything is magically fixed, but we're in a better place now. We're both learning to communicate better and be more supportive of each other, and that's been a huge step forward. So, Reddit, AITA for giving my boyfriend a Blumpkin? Maybe I was a little naive about how it would affect our relationship, but I'm glad we're working through it. Thanks for reading, and I'm sending love to anyone else going through a tough time in their relationships.